Hey, welcome back to Alexander Breaks Business. Today we're going to be talking about sales versus marketing and how you can solve your marketing problem in record time by simply solving your sales problem, because most business owners get the two confused, be it anything from a small, medium, or even freelance angle. It is the same trends that I am seeing. If you don't know who I am, my name is Alexander. I've helped businesses across the nation do everything from achieve their first million all the way down to freelancers who want to escape the 9-to-5 grind and do what they love for a living. I am on a mission to do the same for you so that you can achieve success faster and smarter. I make videos like this because I went through these experiences and I want you to save yourself the headaches that I had to go through. So what we need to define first is, what is your actual problem? Is it sales or is it marketing? And most people will say that they have a marketing problem. They don't have enough leads. They don't have enough customers. They don't have enough opportunities to even just make that sell. They want more people to know about the thing, product or service that they offer. But the thing is that sales and marketing work in tandem. And if you had figured out your sales, then you really realistically would not be having as high of a problem, or a problem at all really, with marketing, because you would just need to broadcast what you already know to more people. So many businesses, freelancers, owners, CEOs, whatever, fall into this trap. We tried running ads on platform and it didn't work. We wasted money on this technique and it didn't work. Our business is different and doesn't work for marketing. The leads were of poor quality, etc., etc. And I'm going to dispel these 3 myths right now. There's no such thing as a business out there that doesn't benefit from marketing. It may not be what you think is going to be your effective method of marketing, but every business is marketing. It could be cold DMs on LinkedIn. It could be mailing a postcard. It could be running Facebook ads. It could be doing just knocking on doors. But every business benefits from more awareness, more eyes on our product and service. There's no such thing as a business that doesn't benefit from marketing. Second thing is it's working for other businesses. If other businesses in your area or other freelancers or what have you are marketing the same thing that you're doing right now, and they're doing some methodology to get leads, there's no reason it won't work for you. The reality is that you might just be thinking that it doesn't work for you because you haven't done the homework. You haven't done the research, and that's what this video is going to help you fix. And then the third thing is the leads were of poor quality. If you're saying that to yourself, then that's because you're not sure who you're selling to, or you sold the wrong thing to the wrong person. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. There are a couple components when it comes to the funnel, I would say, of marketing down to an actual sale and beyond. And this is the most common problem breakdown, where you have a couple different variables here. Your target, who needs it, the market, where are they selling, what they will pay, what they want to hear, fulfillment, how they will get it, how it gives them value in their life, what the parameters look like around that, and evolution, what you can learn from that interaction, from them paying you, and then put that back into your process. And if you are doing this right now, chances are there's probably a reason it's not working. So if you have a loosely defined target, you don't know who you're selling to. If you have low value outlets, you don't know where they congregate. You need to figure out what outlet's going to net you the most. And you can do this based on age, user trends, demographics. If you're trying to sell B2B services to mechanics, find out where all those mechanics hang out and run ads there. What they will pay, you might just be doing random sales, just a custom, hey, book a discovery call. We'll build this custom package for you. Tell me what you need. Tell me what we can do. You're just a commodity service, that kind of thing. Fulfillment, you don't really have a defined outcome or value. Like I said, you're probably stuck in that commodity phase, like a lower value business that's pretty much just pitching a job title, or you don't really have anything that's going to help them. You don't understand what it is they're looking to solve from buying from you. And then what you can learn, if you have inaccurate offboarding, then you really need to understand what it is you can learn from this experience, or you need to get more value out of that. Let's say they make it all the way to here, they buy from you, they got the thing, everything ends. You should be asking for referrals. You should be getting upselling them on maybe the next stage of something, turning them into a reoccurring revenue stream. You should be getting even just bare minimum feedback on how to make that process easier, so the next person who goes through this journey doesn't have as tough a time. Just simply ask, because all they can really say is no. You've already got their money. I mean, why not get more information, more value, things that you can put back into your process? And the result, if you did all these things, mind you, we're going to recap them: loosely defined customer, low value outlets, random sales, or custom sales, no defined outcome or value, inaccurate offboarding. You're going to be spending way too much to get customers. You're going to have unpredictable results, both for the thing you're delivering and for the actual marketing that you're doing. And ultimately, you're going to have low retention, and you're just plain too generic. You're going to be competing with other eyeballs in the Facebook feed, on those print ads, in anything. It's just nobody's really going to have a reason to care. Too generic if you're kind of just pitching a job title, hey, I do this thing, this is my job title, then so do probably 50 to 100, maybe thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people in the area you're selling do the exact same thing. Doesn't really tell me why you're different. And then ultimately, at the end of this, you have no feedback to improve. Let's say the customer just had a terrible time working with you. It was so just pulling teeth to work with you, and you thought it was great. You need to get that feedback so that you can actually understand what's working and what's not working. So here's an example. You sell web design services in your local area. You have no clear definition of how long it takes to get the website set up, see results from it, and why they should choose you over the thousands of other web designers, presumably in that area. And overall, you have a loosely defined, mostly custom sales process. You're probably asking them what they want, what they're looking for. You're really waiting for them to hope that they have a problem, and they're just going to tell it to you, and maybe you can solve it, and maybe it'll actually get them results, but likely not, because you haven't done the research. So you really don't have anything that makes you different. You don't have anything that makes you better than the competition. You're seen as the same as everything from the guy on Fiverr who's charging $50 to a website to, extremely high-end boutique ones. You're lumped in with everybody else. So you promote a post on Instagram that drops them on your homepage. They have to navigate, actually find the contact form to get started working with you. There's nothing on that contact form that indicates how long it'll take for them to get back, if at all, and even have a quote. Then you do a back and forth email chain to get them to book a discovery call where you ask them what they want and you create a custom package. This is so common. If you're doing this right now, you are spending an exorbitant amount of ads to probably get very little results. And this is what happens when most people go out there, they hire an agency to do SEO, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, and then that agency doesn't really care. They don't have a result. They don't have anything that they can pretty much give you. They're pretty much there to just translate what you tell them into an ad. And you're going to end up spending thousands, tens of thousands of dollars for that ad to do either essentially nothing or get very, very little performance and very little efficiency. What you should be doing, and this is the ideal start to finish client-customer interaction between marketing, sales, and delivery, and then the aftermath. So now, instead, you have a very defined target. You know their age, gender, purchasing power, interests, hobbies, target data points that you could feed into your next ad or whatever outlet you're sending on. You also have highly valuable outlets, so you understand where your target customer is hanging out. You understand if you're selling to young people at the time of this video, you're probably pitching on TikTok. If you're selling to B2B services that are high ticket items, you're probably selling on LinkedIn. And then you have what will they pay, which is your systematic sales process. That means that you've addressed these problems beforehand. You're not just kind of making it up on the spot. You're not waiting for them to say, oh, tell me what's wrong. You're saying, hey, I know you have this issue, or at least the odds are in my favor that you have this issue. I have a ready-to-go sales script that will address all of your questions, comments, concerns up front. How they will get it, you have a clearly defined offer. This is the parameters, the price, the time it takes to fulfill it, what their expectation is in terms of the work on them, the sacrifice. And then you have a value intake and value extraction system. So they've paid, they've done everything at the very end. You are clear to ask them for a referral, to ask for feedback that you can put back into each one of these variables and improve. So the next customer or client who gets in the pipeline has an even better time. And then you can ask them so you can upsell them even on something else. Like let's say you have a reoccurring service, or you have something where you can ascend the ladder. You go from the gold tier to platinum tier to diamond tier, something like that. There should be no limit. The result of this is a low cost to get new customers, predictable streams of customers. You have isolated variables now. So once you ask for that feedback, you can see exactly what needs to be improved within here. And you have consistent feedback. So this way you can look at your marketing, see what's not working, improve it, start to narrow that down. You've done the research. You understand the language they use, where they hang out, what they want to hear, how much they're willing to pay, what problems. All of that is addressed up front. So an example is you sell a software product to men aged 30 to 50 years old who are mechanics. The software gets set up in a maximum of 3 days and allows them to get more leads and manage those leads. There is one defined pricing tier to pick. After setup and running, you ask for feedback to get more data to improve the software, as well as an affiliate marketing program so that those subscribers get you more subscribers. Instead of simply just running an ad that drops them on their homepage, you run a Facebook ad that leads them straight to a sales funnel where you have a one-time limited time offer for a free 7-day trial of that software. That has urgency, scarcity, clearly defined customer demographic, where they hang out, what they're looking for, and there's no guesswork on the pricing. In theory, this could simply be a buy button. It's perceived as extremely high valuable. It's very easy to market because the demographic already understands what it's solving, and ultimately you could just keep creating limited time offers to keep funneling in that customer acquisition. Now, what you are looking for is the reality of sales and marketing is broken for most, and you are probably looking for a way to fix this. This is how these things work together. So in this money-making machine, you put $1 into the machine, you put $1 into Facebook ads, put $1 into print ads, you put $1 into YouTube ads, and you try and get marketing. You're spending too much time for bad leads, or you're getting poor results or return from those leads, probably because, just like up here, you haven't fixed one of these components within your process. Sales, let's say they click on the ad, they're like, sure, I'll take a chance, this sounds great. You're probably spending too much time on either a bad or unqualified lead, or you just can't simply handle the leads. It's just a waste of your time. Maybe you're spending 3 hours in a sales call saying, please give us money, we're so good at this, we're so great, trust us, you maybe get $2 out of the machine at the end of the day. So that assumes that you put this dollar in that you already had, this customer spends, that amount with you, and then ultimately that's all that happened. And that is a terrible, terrible conversion ratio, where in reality, I would say that most people don't even get this far. They usually get nothing. They usually end up getting $0 out of the machine. This money just goes into a big pit of nothingness. If you're getting 2 though, that's better, but it's still not good, because that means that now 50% of your total margin has just been dedicated towards marketing. If I sold, for instance, this hard drive I have here for my filming, let's say it cost me $1 to make this, or let's say it cost me like $2 to make this, and then I put $1 in to sell more of these, I've now cut out, assuming this thing cost me $0 to make, I've now cut out 50% of total profitability. So this thing in reality, let's say it costs like 25 cents, 50 cents, $1 to make. So I put $1 in, it cost me $1 to make this, and then somebody buys this for $2. I have made nothing. That is what most people are doing with marketing, because they're not optimizing any of it. They're not understanding it. They're not solving their sales problem. What you want to do, before we even get there, but what you want to do is to still get more out than you put in every time. And the only way to do that is to do the homework. And we'll talk about that in a little more. But this is where most people think marketing is. They just view it as an outlet. They say, oh, social media, print ads, YouTube ads, SEO, banner ads, video ads, something that is an outlet. That's marketing the bubble. When in reality, if one of these things doesn't break, you have no contingency plan. Let's say you pay $5,000 a month. Some, guy you found runs Facebook ads. Nothing happens. You get 0 leads. It's gone. Facebook took that money. He took his money. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. And the problem is you do not know what you are left with this. I don't know what didn't work. I don't have any data. And what they'll probably do is they'll send you an email with a bunch of arbitrary KPIs, or key performance indicators, which is essentially just a laundry list of numbers. Oh, 500 people clicked on this ad, 200 people made it to this point, 300 people made it to this point. it's not worth your time. You're not a marketer. And that's why you're going through this experience, to be better equipped to understand how to make better marketing decisions and how to ultimately even consider running your own marketing. But the first step you need to do is to not think of marketing just as all or nothing. There are so many variables, and we'll get to that in a second. But it's important that you distance yourself from that. When it comes to leads, you just view it as a single person. In that sales process is just getting that person into paying for you. You have no system in place, John, Jane Doe. It's just some generic person. There's nothing really stopping that person from scrolling past your ad, clicking on a competitor's ad, or doing something else. You just want somebody to knock at your door and give you money. Now, what you should be aiming for, this is how marketing machines actually work. This is your money machine 2.0. You put $1 into this machine and you get far more than $1 out of this machine. Eventually, you'll probably start here. You'll say, like, maybe it's $3, then $5, then $5, then $10, and then just so on until this machine just keeps performing time and time again. And it's never ending. I'll tell you that now. The market always changes. Outlets changes, social media changes, print changes, the way that people communicate on those outlets change. But the goal is to just keep converting this to higher results. So the way that works is, instead of viewing it as just a bunch of arbitrary outlets, marketing, the goal is to spend the least amount of money to get the highest amount of opportunities or results, or whatever you're aiming for. And those are broken down into typically 4 key variables. Doesn't really have to do anything with the outlet. It has to do with optimizing each one of these variables as much as you can. You have your creative, which is going to be your image, your text, your video, the things that they visually see. Your offer, which is the parameters of working with you. So what you can do for me as the defined outcome: get me more leads, get me more revenue, get me more sales, lose weight, run faster. Yeah, hot sauce makes your food spicier. It has to be something that not only tells me what you do, but then parameters on how to get it. So that could be like anything on a low ticket item, 2-for-1 deal, limited time summer offer, or on a high ticket deal, only pay per result, only pay for when we get you your first customers or 50 customers, something like that, to make it more enticing. You have to build a tangible offer that makes you different than the competition. And that does not mean pitching a job title. If your ad so much as says, like, we're a web designer, a CPA, a personal trainer, then you are basically wasting money. You have to figure out what it is they want as the outcome from you. People don't buy things, they buy what they get from the things. What do they get from working with you? What do they get from giving you money? Make that seem like a no-brainer. Make that seem so much better than competition. They're whipping out their credit card and ready to pay you on the spot. So outlets, you have to understand what the outlet is and which is performing. And this is always changing. You can do your research, type into Google best performing outlet for selling something like this. Or, look at trends. If you're selling something that's targeted towards like 16 to 21-year-olds, they're hanging out on TikTok at the time of recording this video. If you're selling to high-ticket B2B coaching services for, let's say you're trying to get more leads and teach certified public or CPAs how to increase revenue, they're probably hanging out on LinkedIn. So understand the outlet, what's going to get you the most results from that outlet, and then your target. If you don't know what your target is, I'd encourage you to go back and watch the video on my channel that says how to get your dream customer or dream client. That will tell you how to get your target, because you're going to feed those parameters into your ad set. It's important that you have that data ready to go. Otherwise, you're kind of just going to be shooting in the dark. By that, I mean, like, let's say, you're selling something like women's apparel, and this is for like older women, then think about what that parameter might be. It might be women aged, 60 plus who live in major metro areas, upper income bracket. If you're doing a high ticket item for older women, understand your target demographic. Go watch the video that I talk about this, how to find your dream client, and you'll build a no-brainer stat sheet that'll skip all of this. For sales, you want to spend the least amount of time for the highest results. This is different when it comes to marketing because marketing is more about the money you're spending. Sales is about the optimizing the time you're spending. Ideally, you can go the same as well, but unless you're hiring like a big, huge sales team, then the goal is to just get it to a point where in essence, it's a buy button. They understand the value. They know what it is. They know what it does for them. They're willing to pay that amount. They can just, the question is, how much do you want to pay to make this go away? And then you should have everything ready to go. Credit, debit, ACH, buy now, pay later, that kind of stuff. But the variables are your channels. If you're selling this on your website, if you're selling it through partners, are you selling it through Amazon? Are you selling it through a TikTok store? Figure out as many channels as you can that are going to net you the highest results. And don't discount the small ones too. If there's something out there that's growing that people are starting to get in on, then that affords you the opportunity to be an early adopter in there and get better results. You'll find that especially in the digital space, this is really applicable because if you can get into an outlet early, you'll end up spending a lot less for a lot better results as more users come into it. But this also applies to anything else. If you're doing a billboard, a print ad, something like that, I would say it applies. If you really want to waste money, then this also applies to TV. But let's say that you are running something that only runs on TV and you're targeting people who watch TV, aka older people, then yes, this would also apply as well. So just understand the channels that you are selling this thing in and how you're doing it as well. The process, make it easy, make it simple, make it fast. If I have to drop on your homepage, navigate to a contact form, fill out this form, we do an email chain back and forth, complete waste of my time, complete waste of your customer or client's time. Just make it easy. Productize your service if you haven't already done so. Start to turn those services into flat rate pricing where, you know, you have different tiers, and then in theory, you could just, again, make it a buy button, but just make it easy. If they have to book a discovery call because they still need that trust from like a high ticket item, then make that process easy. Set up a Calendly, set up an appointment booking scheduler, set up something. You don't want to make your sales hard. I see this all the time. Nobody is going to want to call you and then have to go through all these hoops to jump through to just understand what it is you sell. When your competitor down the street has a website, they can just click add to cart and do the same thing in. Performance. Start to isolate what your key performance what your key performance indicators are. This means that if you are spending 2 hours on a phone call and everybody's asking you the same question every single phone call, put that question on the website, address it up front. If people are saying, you know, oh, I got to think about it because I got to talk to my wife, my kids, my dog, my child, then start to understand what those objections are and address those up front. Ideally, if you've done it right, there's no questions. Nobody goes to the, most people don't go to the Apple store and ask a million questions about the newest iPhone. They just buy it. Most people don't go to anything that is very well defined. You don't open up the Uber app and you're like, oh, how does this work? How does this work? How does this work? You just know, okay, cool. I want to get from point A to point B. I don't want to call up a yellow taxi that might accept credit cards. I'm just going to do this. So figure out in your performance what areas, what weaknesses and strengths you can exemplify. Especially if you have a sales team, this is really important. You need to start to understand what it is that they should be working towards in terms of those indicators. You can look up sales KPIs into Google, and that can give you a good starting point as well. And then experience. This is after the sale, but this is also before the sale. If they understand what that experience looks like, if you give them clear outline of what that experience looks like, everything from the onboarding, when they see results, all of that stuff in terms of what to expect, you're that much more likely to get the sale. So make the customer experience easy, fast, and simple. If you want a good starting point, do this, copy this right now. I'm going to leave it up there. Copy this text, go to ChatGPT or whatever AI flavor of the week is when this video is up, and then say, pretend you are my chief marketing officer and pretend you are my chief sales officer. I sell, and then put in your product or service. I want the most optimized version of a marketing and sales roadmap for my business. Please define and then type in these variables: creative, offer, outlet, target, channels, process, performance, and experience. And it will spit out a pretty good roadmap of what you can expect for your business. Now, these should be your goals. I want to give you real actionable items. This is the homework I was talking about. If you solve these, if you fix these right now, I promise you, You will make more money. Your life will be easier. Sales, you want to increase the probability of converting. Every time that opportunity comes knocking at your door, you want to increase the likelihood that they'll say yes, give you money, while also increasing the amount of revenue. That doesn't just mean getting necessarily as many sales as possible. That also means looking into ways to increasing the revenue you can earn per sale. So ideally, you should be doing both at the same time. You should be increasing the amount, you should be increasing the likelihood that person will convert into a sale, while also figuring out ways to make those sales higher, or at least higher sales, I would say. Decrease the amount of time explaining or convincing. This is the biggest one. If you have to tell people your job title, they don't understand what that is, they don't understand how it applies to them, they don't understand what it solves for them, you're already in the red. Start to figure out a way that you can talk more about the outcome, who needs that outcome, then they don't even need to know about your job title. So think about it this way, actually. I want to put a note on here. Think about it this way. If I told you I was like a brand strategist, for instance, and you were not in the creative profession, probably wouldn't know what that means. But if I told you that by changing the design of your business, I could triple your revenue, then you'd be like, oh my goodness, tell me more. That's when I lead in with, I'm a brand strategist. Here's my strategy meant specifically for your type of business that will net you that result. One of those is substantially higher value, and one of them doesn't depend on me ultimately knowing what that job title is. So fix this problem first. Fix your sales problem first. These are the problems you were probably experiencing. Low conversions, people just aren't buying. Long sales interactions, you're spending way too much time trying to sell. You're too commodity focused. That means that you're still trying to pitch a job title, you're still trying to pitch a service, you're still trying to pitch it, and you're lumped in with everybody else. They don't know you're good, they don't know you're better. It's highly competitive because of that. If you're running this ad, or if you're trying to sell something, you're also competing with all of those other people who are lumped in with you, and you can't handle the lead flow. You just simply can't make the sales, or maybe you're getting a lot of opportunities, but you still can't sell it. You're just, either you're limited on scope, scale, or you're just simply not able to handle all of these people making appointments. So you need to make the sales process easier and simpler. So the goal is to find better targets and outlets. That means better customers, better places where those customers are hanging out, or where they're likely to hang out. Increasing your perceived value, making it seem like you are better than the competition. Increasing conversions. That means that the likelihood of every person interacting with you increases the likelihood that they'll buy from you. And then maximum revenue. So just the amount you're making per sale, or your amount you're making overall. In both instances, you should try for both. Marketing, you want to increase the amount of qualified opportunities. You want to get more opportunities that hit a home run every time. The better you can do this, the better you can fail, the better you can get data, the better you can take that data back and improve your marketing and your sales at the same time. It's always best to have as many qualified opportunities as possible, because that gives you a chance to get really good at it really fast by doing a lot of the same thing. I promise you, if you have more qualified opportunities, you might not get it first couple times, but the more you do it, the more likely you are to get better at that skill set. And that applies to both marketing and sales. If you figure out, hey, this marketing campaign didn't work, what can we improve? Let's do a better one. You'll get closer and closer to the opportunity. Same thing in sales. Hey, these last 5-10 sales calls didn't work. We should figure out why they didn't work. Perfect. Now because we have more opportunities in our marketing pipeline, we now have the ability to continually refine our sales. You also want to get a better return on marketing. By that, I mean the biggest goal above all is to spend the least amount of money. In this case, decrease the cost per customer, and you want to get to a point where you're spending the least amount of your revenue to get the most amount of qualified opportunities or leads. And in this case, these are a little bit different in the sense that your return on marketing should always be higher. You should be getting more than you put in than you put out. But in terms of decreasing the cost per customer, that also entails that you might be doing two different things. So when it comes to cost per customer, that is platform dependent. The amount of money you spend on an ad typically goes up. It costs more to run Facebook ads now than it did 10 years ago. Same thing with the return on marketing is if you can get a better return on, say, another platform, or say a better target, or say a better campaign, then that is still going to get you a lot better results. I would rather have more qualified customers on a newer platform if it means I'm spending less on marketing. That's why you'll see people who do, instead of spending a bunch on Facebook ads, they're going to do cold emailing, which at that time might get better results. And then they go from cold emailing to doing like a video recording like this one. Then they go to a personal postcard, something like that. You need to figure out which one is going to be best for your type of outlet. And that's dependent on your customer again. You might have customers who are handshakers and they want a postcard and they want to see your eyes. Or you might just have, people who are like, I just want to add to cart. I don't care who sees, I don't care who I meet, So decreasing as well as the value mismatch. If your marketing is not lining up with who you're trying to sell it to, you need to decrease the value mismatch. They should understand what it is you're doing, what it is you're solving. So now that you understand who you're selling to, what they want to hear, that you have a defined customer, you're probably going to, before we even get there, these might be the problems you're facing. You don't have enough opportunities, simply just not enough opportunities. If you're not doing anything to market your business, you can't expect people to be showing up at your door. If you're not paying for ads, then you can't expect anybody to discover your business from paid advertising. I have had so many opportunities or so many interactions with business owners where I ask them, prime example, I just had one that was a restaurant chain, and they all say the same thing. We want more customers. And I asked them, first question, what have you been doing so far? Oh, we haven't been doing anything. Well, then of course, then you can expect nothing. It's the same thing with sales. If you make one cold call a month and you close, or let me better example. Let's say you make 10 cold calls a month and you close 3 or 4 of them. That's great. You don't have a sales problem. You're just not doing enough. Same thing with marketing. Oh, we spent $10 on ads. Oh, we didn't run any ads. Oh, we haven't been doing any marketing. Then there's not enough opportunities. You need to create more opportunities, and you need to do it strategically. High cost for getting a customer. So it costs you a lot. You spend $1 million to run ads. Theoretically, everybody would know about your business, but it's not sustainable. You need to keep putting that money into the pipeline time and time again. And you really want to get to the point where it costs you the least amount of money to get the most amount of customers. Poor value understanding. If I look at your ad, I don't know what you do, I don't know why you're better than the competition, I don't know why I should care, then there's a poor value understanding. There's nothing in there that makes you better than the competition. Low value outlets. If you have an outlet mismatch, for instance, you sell to young people at the time of recording, you're pitching on TikTok, you sell to B2B high ticket services, you're on LinkedIn sending cold DMs, that's great. But if suddenly you're like, okay, why isn't my accounting ad doing well on TikTok, even though everybody's on TikTok? Well, everybody who's on TikTok is pretty much the majority of them is going to be under 25 and probably don't have discretionary income or see the value in paying for an accountant. So understand where they live. And then finally, try, fail, blind approach. This one is huge. You need to disconnect yourself. Let me go back to this actually. This is the try, fail, blind approach. You view marketing and leads as this monolith. If it didn't work on Facebook, it's never going to work on Facebook. If it didn't work on YouTube, it's never going to work on YouTube. That is not the reality. You need to switch to this mindset. Well, if it didn't work on Facebook, was my creative bad? Did the image not make sense? Was my offer good enough? Did the outlet, should I be advertising on Facebook? Maybe I should be advertising on something else based on my research. Did I target? Is that the people who are likely to buy this? And even underneath that, you'll get even more variables when you open up your marketing platform. So don't assume that try, fail, blind approach. Don't lump into this trap where if it didn't work, then everything won't work. You have to isolate those variables. It will work for you. I promise. You just have to get to a point where you understand what didn't work underneath that umbrella. So the goal with marketing is to generate more and better opportunities, to get more people in your pipeline, to get more opportunities to sell to people, isolate those variables to improve, maximize the return on spend, and maximize retention. By that, I mean, if something didn't work, you need to understand what underneath that didn't work. This right here is basically saying, try to figure out underneath your ad or your marketing campaign, what little cog in the machine was broken. Maximize return on spend. You want to get more customers for the least amount of spend. Maximize retention. If it takes a long time to get that customer to buy your $10,000 thing, then you need to build that trust. It might not just be as simple as seeing one ad and then that customer is like, oh, great, I'm ready to spend 10K. It might take time. I mean, if you go on TV or if you go on streaming and you see McDonald's runs ads and you think to yourself, everybody knows what McDonald's is. It's because they're banking on somebody sitting on their construction site watching that ad when they're looking at Hulu and saying, gosh, I don't want to make lunch. I'm going to just go to McDonald's today. They want that retention. They want eyes on that thing. They want it to keep being in the back of their mind. It's not necessarily for you to just watch that McDonald's ad and then just stand up and instantly go. It is also partly for them to incept you to get to that point where you have that next time you're thinking about getting lunch. So in summary, we're going to go over this real quick. Bad sales, good marketing. You're going to end up poor marketing return, wasted time, stagnant growth, poor customer experience, and reputation. If you have incredible marketing, the targeting's on point, people know what it is, but then you get to the sales process and it's just kind of a pain, nobody's going to want to buy it. But conversely, it's the same thing. If you have good sales and ineffective marketing, then unfortunately, you're going to get poor quality, minimal leads, high cost per customer, limited reach, and competitive disadvantage. You might have the best sales process in the world, but people just don't understand what it is you're trying to sell to them. They are not going to come knocking at your door. The best analogy I can use to summarize these two is, let's say you had a brick and mortar store. And you spend, let's say you have this incredible store. You sell beverages. I walk into your store. It's all remodeled. It's brilliant. It's beautiful. Everything down to the music, to the shelves. Your employee comes up to me. What brought you in today? What can I help you with? They help you find the best drink you've ever had. It's incredible, but your marketing stinks. Nobody knows about it. There's only 2 people in the store a month, and nobody just knows what it is. Where conversely, let's say you had the best marketing in the world. Your ads are killing it. People are all of a sudden discovering your store. They want to learn more. They drive, an hour out of their town to get to it. It sounds so hyped and so cool. But then your sales kind of stink. I open up your store and it's kind of dusty. The shelves are all over the place. There's nobody to help me find the drink. It's just really hard to navigate. Or it's just junk and dirt on the store. It's the same thing. If you take that analogy and you spend tens of thousands of dollars on marketing, but your website doesn't convert, then you have bad sales. If conversely, I book a sales call and you don't know how to sell to me, but you have incredible marketing, you've just wasted the ad spend. If the other, and then conversely, if the other is true as well, where you have great marketing, everybody's landing on your site, the other way around, if you have great sales, but you have terrible marketing, then nobody will know about your product or service. And there'll be a mismatch between what you're selling and what it is that the person is actually looking for. So to summarize, if you combine good sales with good marketing by solving your sales problem first and then moving on to marketing, you'll have a predictable lead flow, a systematized sales process, more opportunities to sell and improve, and you'll have the lowest cost on marketing to get new leads, customers, etc. And what this means to actually solve this is threefold. You want to start with defining your customer, which if you haven't already done this, go to the video before this about finding your dream client. I break down completely step-by-step how to do this. Build an offer. And that means not just pushing a job title out in your ad or pushing out a service or some sort of thing that's viewed as a commodity. You want to actually tell us why you're different. And no, better customer service, being a family, being local, those are not reasons you're different. Actually being different means having something that is a more compelling offer, a better experience, a better product or service than the competition. And if you don't believe me, then think about the last time you shopped on Amazon versus going to a local store, you streamed a Spotify song versus buying the artist's music, or you went to Starbucks instead of the local coffee shop. People will tell you that behind the scenes that they want to support local, small, shake the hands with people. But in reality, if the value is super good, It doesn't really matter. People will actually do what they do behind the scenes. So figure out a way to make a better offer. Figure out a way to objectively be better than your competition. If you want to do that, I would encourage you to start to think about things that you are better at. What makes you different? Do you have urgency in your offer, scarcity in your offer, goodwill initiatives, mini wins? How long does it take to see the results from what you do? What result can you achieve with me? Think about all of those things together. And then finally, your outlet. Where does this exist? Where does it most optimally exist? If you're selling something to young people, chances are at the time of recording, you're pitching on TikTok. If you're selling B2B high ticket items, you're probably selling on LinkedIn. What you can do is just go to Google, type in some of the demographics that align with your target customer or client, and then pipe those into what the outlets look like as well, because there are trends. Majority of them are either segmented by age or initiative or use case, something along those lines. You'll want to translate that into a marketing hook and sales process. By that, I mean you need something that grabs their attention. Customers and consumers are savvier than ever. You want to get something where they're scrolling through their feed or they're reading a magazine or whatever outlet you're in. They look at that and go, tell me more, or I'm interested in that thing. So for example, if you sold web design services, instead of just saying, we'll build you a beautiful new website, say, hey, we can build this website that'll triple your revenue and your sales conversions all in 30 days. It starts at $5.99 for a limited time only. So that is a pretty compelling offer. That is a pretty compelling hook that gets me interested in learning more about how you can do that with my website. Sales process, you're going to want to systematize this, build a script around it, start to build the price points, or at least one price point, and start to understand what that looks like. Even if you can make it automated, if it's an add to cart, if it's buy now, if it's something book now, or even if you have a discovery call involved, make it easy to get involved. Put up a calendar link or an appointment calendar, appointment setter. Don't just put a contact form. That is the lowest value thing you can do. Make it something more engaging and easy. And then finally, get data and feedback, refine and increase value performance. By that, I mean, when you're seeing these ads, ideally the outlets you're using them on, they're going to feed you data, and you're going to comb through that data, and you're going to comb through it to see what's not working. Is there a drop-off point? Did they click on it and lose interest on the web page? Do they get to the book now form and they lose interest? Do they even just click on the ad, or do they scroll by? You have to figure out what's not working based on that data. And once they actually buy from you and you get that feedback, or even if they get to the sales call and something like that, or they even just interact with you and don't necessarily buy, ask for feedback. That way you can increase the value. What were they looking for? What other options had they considered? What would make that process easier? All of those need to be integrated into there. So that way you can understand instead of guessing. But as always, follow this framework, like I said, and this will really help you explode your marketing, fix your sales first, then move on to marketing. Then you can hire an agency if you want, or honestly, you could just do it yourself if you want to take the time to learn it. I'm always in favor of learning. It increases your value, it makes you more valuable, and it makes you more understanding of what it is that you're selling and how you're broadcasting it. But as always, if you are interested in videos like these, I want to know more about what you want to hear. So go ahead and comment below with what you're interested in or what videos you want to see on, and anything business related, and I can go ahead and make some content that'll get you to there faster and easier. And not only that, but if you are interested in videos like these, go ahead and hit the bell icon to be notified of future ones, and subscribe, because I'm always trying to get more people to achieve success faster and easier without all the headaches. If you are struggling as well with some of these concepts in here in particular, go ahead and comment below with any questions you have, and I'll answer them individually as best as I can. But I'll see you on the next one.